I want to let you know that I want you guys to be just as open as I am now about getting called on my shit for when somebody calls you out on yours.
Tyra Banks, activist and revolutionaire of the fashion industry, sat down in her trench coat and broke her silence.
I haven't really said much, but now it's time.
She finally talked about America's Next Top Model like it was a civil rights movement.
My show was a reality TV show? It must have been a different show, because no.
It was activism, it was empowerment. It was her single-handedly taking on and dismantling the fashion industry.
I had a feeling that I was going to change the beauty world.
How do you feel about being the only plus-size model here? I'm sure of myself. Plus-size model.
This you?
But just showing all the differences and all the different types of beauty.
It was a little bit, it was a reality TV show. It was made for consumption. It was driven by consumption at the expense of the contestants.
I didn't feel that you embraced.
Oh my God!
It was girls living in a house, sleep-deprived, hungry, crying in confessionals, getting called ashy, dressed as elephants, made to pose as their traumas. Your mom died when she fell off the roof.
I feel like they would take the girls' fears and then turn it into a photo shoot.
And of course, told to close their tooth gaps.
Get them teeth done?
All the way.
That's fine. Listen, reality TV has always been trash. That's why you watch it. What's wild is pretending like America's Next Top Model was some kind of non-profit. Like it was some kind of make-a-wish.
You can make it happen.
What's wild is being so calculated and self-righteous in a documentary on Netflix about dissecting this show that you made that the world thought was problematic. I'm sure you've seen the videos on America's Next Top Model. My girl Courtney made a video on them, but a lot of things happened in the show that were brought up in this documentary to Tyra. And among those moments was when things got really dark with Shandy. When production decided it was a great idea to invite these men over when the girls were drunk, film them.
I was hammered. I think I had 2 bottles of wine by myself. I just remember like little bits and pieces.
At any point, production could have just called it, sent them home. All right, that's a wrap. But no, production was feeling predatory. Their well-being? Well-being! At what point in this show did you think production gave a shit about their well-being? That wasn't me. That was production.
It's a little difficult for me to talk about production because
That's not my territory.
Executive producer Tyra Banks. That must have been a mistake. They put your name on the show. That's a typo. It's I didn't edit the show 1 minute, and the next she's master editor.
I'm not head of story, that's Ken Mock, but I did become a master editor.
It's they love my show. That's how she opens the documentary. And the next, it's not her show. It was they made me fire my lifelong friend's decision from up there. No sacred cows, she said, until the network's former CEO comes out and says,
I didn't ask you to do that.
I don't believe if they knew that it came from above. How much Ken and I were explaining this was not our decision to this day. I think they think that it was me and Ken.
girl. The whole documentary felt like a tug of war between reality and Tyra's delusional takes. You know, her pretending to care, to change and challenge beauty standards. Social justice warrior. I was forced to fire my friends. Do you think this is what I wanted? I have never
in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me.
Really, all she wanted was money. And guess what? That's okay. It's okay for someone to want money. It's impressive what she did. Build a show from nothing, an empire. And it's okay for people not to like you if they think the way you made your money was unethical. But that act, this was for you. No, it wasn't. It was for you. It was for you. Tyra Banks made bank. But you know who didn't? Her contestants. Tyra Banks accused of paying America's Next Top Model contestants $38 a day. That's like minimum wage. Y'all, she made $18 million and she paid her contestants $38 a day. So if you go shoot for a month, you made a little under $1,200. And you were sleep deprived and you were hungry because that made for better TV.
And I thank you for that.
And yet she comes over, this Netflix documentary, reality check, talks to us like we haven't seen the show. Girl sat down and retold us the show like it was some kind of a non-profit. It was a non-profit sharing. If you're a contestant, you're not getting a dime. No, Tyra Banks is the kind of person that would climb up a ladder and pull it up from behind her. The real slap across the face was at the very end of the documentary when she was gaslighting us, essentially. She smiled and said, I want you guys to be just as open as I am now about getting called on my shit for when somebody calls you out on yours, because that day will come. So you came to watch her maybe apologize? No. Take accountability? No. Maybe just own it? Like...
I did that.
No, but she came to lecture you. Every opportunity to be self-righteous, Tyra is gonna take it. You can see it in her face, in her performance. She just looked like she was on, like she was extremely calculated. Every move she made, every word that fell out of her mouth, it felt prepared. And let me tell you, y'all, I did not expect that. I expected anything else. I'm not sure if you've seen the documentary or not, but if you haven't, then go check it out. I wanna talk about what the that was. Tyra Banks is a super businesswoman, all right? Initially rises to become this incredibly beautiful supermodel. Then she goes on to have her own talk show, goes on to have her own reality TV show, America's Next Top Model, where they basically find a bunch of very desperate contestants who really want to become models, promise them that they will become models, they will not. Promise them a contract with a top modeling agency that will never book them. Why? Because they're reality TV stars. Apparently there's a stigma in the modeling, and because modeling is so elite. I still never understand modeling. I don't know why modeling's such an exclusive elite thing to be a part of. But apparently even if you have the looks and the talent to model, you can't. Your background matters too. Sorry. Honestly, a massive side eye to the modeling industry that just so... But whatever, that's a discussion for another day. That's not the discussion for today. She created this incredible show that became iconic. It's a staple pop culture show. It's a very culturally relevant show. Like, how is she gonna top that? That's essentially her legacy, right? Wrong. She's got a new business now. Her actual legacy, she calls it. The beginning of greatness. Hot ice cream. I mean, honestly, it's better than calling people fat on TV.
Robin, first of all, is too old to be starting model.
She's huge. She's not going to be a top model. She won't. She's a toppling company.
I think that you guys are the problem with America. I think you are the...
When Tyra Banks came to me and asked me to do the show, she said, I want you to be like Simon Cowell. Yes, I was harsh, but I was paid to be harsh.
So go for it, girl. Living her best life in Australia, selling you hot ice cream. And it was very clear from the get-go that this show was entertaining. It was meant to be entertaining, okay? It was a spectacle, essentially. And to pretend that it was anything else is just ridiculous.
Check her phone.
And a lot of people are expecting some kind of accountability from her, some kind of apology. And that's reasonable, considering the ridiculous things that happen in the show. There's a whole ass trend on TikTok right now about telling Tyra your trauma and then having to pose it for a shoot. Okay? They made girls do crime scene shoots. This one contestant, Dion, her mom was paralyzed due to...
When I was a kid, my mom was shot and she was paralyzed from the waist down.
And they made her pose like she was on the head. Y'all have to be some kind of deranged, I swear to God. That's a big part of the show. They find out your traumas and then they storyline narratives, essentially. Then they try and put you in places that make you extremely uncomfortable to get a reaction out of you. Because a reaction out of you, a mental breakdown, makes for great TV. This beautiful girl, Kenya, look at her. They thought she was fat in the show. They literally framed the entire, the girl came into the show having been bullied most of her life for being skinny. And they just decided, that was it. That was your narrative. You were gonna be fat for the show.
We did the 7 deadly sins and they gave me gluttony.
It's just gluttony, I'm greedy, I'm hungry, rah.
The 7 sins shoot, she gets gluttony. The safari shoot, they each get to be an animal. Kenya, you get elephant. It was intentional. The editing around it. Who's doing the editing around it? I don't know, I think somebody mentioned being a master editor at one point.
I did become a master editor.
But when she was eating that bagel in the safari, they made it seem like she ate 3. It was the same bagel. you know, but the editing, they just made it seem like she kept eating. And Tyra, who was changing the beauty industry.
I had a feeling that I was going to change the beauty world.
Tyra, who was our social justice warrior. Tyra, who was dismantling the fashion industry, saw her picture and said, I have to say, they had to do a lot of body work.
If you don't fit the clothes, you don't work.
You can get a burger and take the bread off.
You can get a burger and take the bread off.
I thought you said you were like all about the body positivity and all kinds of beauty and everybody's beautiful.
I was trying to empower her with the information that I had.
She was criticized for her own body, Tyra. Kiss my fat ass, she said.
Kiss my fat ass!
Yet she's perpetuating the same message to her contestants, redirecting the same criticism that she had received to her contestants. The times were different. That's what she said, right? When they told her about it in the documentary. Back then, beauty standards were so narrow.
And looking at that show through the lens of today.
So stop preaching that you were trying to change the world. You weren't revolutionary. Like that one time when they accepted a plus size contestant who was a size 6.
And then, of course, we got a contract with Elite Model Management, and they didn't even have a plus division. So it's like, what kind of fucking joke is this?
And they didn't have any clothes for her.
What size did you tell me you were? 12, or is it really a 14? I'm like, oh my god, love me. No, you don't.
Like they wouldn't have her size in the show.
I don't know why all the girls were so nice looking, and here I am looking like I work at Home Depot.
Wait a minute. Y'all had her in the show. What do you mean you don't have her size?
Do you think that I'm going to be able to get a rack like this loaded with clothes in your size?
You bring her in only to demean her about her size then? Are you just trying to rub it in our face? Like, look, this is the fashion world. Like, okay, is that what you're trying to, or are you just trying to humiliate her? They were all about changing the fashion industry. Like, they had control of those shoots.
You can't find something in my size, so I'm supposed to feel bad because you're taking everything as a negative.
You know, they had creative control of the shoots in the program. They could have given her her size if they were really trying to change the fashion industry. In the end, they kick her off because she's just not a model. You said she was when you put her in the show. Shut up. She's so body positive, like when she told Giselle she has a very wide ass.
I'm walking away, I'm 18 years old, growing in my body, and she's like, Giselle, she's got a wide ass. It's kind of wide. And he did these girls so good.
She built the show to show different beauty because it was very difficult for her as a black woman to break through and become a supermodel. So why did we give Ebony such a hard time? Ebony said it was frustrating because Tyra's show's stylists didn't know how to do her hair. They ruined it and they were laughing at it. We're laughing at her hair texture. And oh my god, y'all, this part, the bit where Tyra calls her and Ebony thinks, oh, she's gonna like talk to me finally, like we're gonna have a real, you know, one-on-one. She goes,
And they've been saying that you have been showing up ashy every day. And I'm blown away. I didn't understand why they chose those specific words. When this is a word that's been used in history to make us feel less than. Their skin texture, being an African American woman, it should be like butter. At the retouching session, your photo was the hardest that we had to do.
Tyra told her that she was ashy. This girl, the narrative that she gets, Ebony, is a very harmful, stereotypical narrative. They said it's gonna be hard with Ebony. She's aggressive and angry.
Pretty hard with Ebony. She's very aggressive and very angry. Ebony just is much too harsh for me. I just don't get it.
Tyra, what the actual And they talk trash about her skin so much. Look at this girl, she's got insane skin. When she got kicked off the show, the girls would talk to her, Ebony, they would tell her, I could probably never be a model because my skin is rough like yours. That's rough skin. Tyra Banks, you have done the opposite of what you claim to have done in this documentary. This documentary was just 3 hours of Tyra Banks taking zero accountability for creating a show that profits off of the abuse, humiliation, spectacle, and exploitation of these young girls for years. She doesn't give us an apology, doesn't tell you what happened was wrong. She says it was right because I was helping you. This was for you. I walked so you run, so you fly. Then the Jays, you know, in the show, they met us in the middle, sort of. You know, they didn't really give us an apology. They weren't accountable either. They were also rude on the show. They were also part of the violations on the show. We'll talk about them in more detail like later, but they didn't go the opposite direction the way Tyra did. You know what? And I don't think she should apologize. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, does someone saying sorry really mean anything if they're not? Tyra Banks is not sorry. That should do it. She'd do it again. She is doing it again.
I feel like my work is not done. You have no idea what we have planned for Cycle 25.
That documentary that dissects America's Next Top Model in such a critical way ends with her promoting the 25th cycle of the show. Yeah, it's coming back. What do you mean, apology, bitch? Adrian Curry, the winner from the first cycle, I believe, who does not like Tyra, by the way, defended her by saying, "What does this mob want? You want her to apologize? She shouldn't," she said. "It's just how entertainment works." Let's dissect that statement a little bit, because watching the documentary, I felt like I could draw an interesting comparison here. Reality TV is a lot like a gladiator's arena. They're both entertainment. They're not, you know, exactly ethical. It's not humane, per se. It's not really ethical to watch people fight to the death for your entertainment. It's also not ethical to watch people fall apart and crumble, having their mental breakdowns the way they do on these America's Next Top Model story-driven narratives. And reality TV never pretended to be moral philosophy. It was spectacle, just like in a gladiator's arena. America's Next Top Model was spectacle. "You guys were demanding it," is what Tyra said about the need to push and become insane.
Tyra would always reinforce, we need to keep it entertaining, we need to keep people watching.
They did a homeless shoot, y'all, with actual homeless people around them.
Real, unhoused people in the background. I think this is one of my favorite pictures.
I love it because your face is so heartbreaking.
I think your face is just so heartbreaking.
What the did you just say? Oh my god, y'all are literally just doing shit now.
We need to keep it entertaining. We need to keep people watching.
To reinvent by making these absolutely ridiculous challenges, pushing the limits akin to, you know, Fear Factor, Survivor. To remain a spectacle, it needed to be more ridiculous. 1v1 in an arena? Okay, we've seen it before. 2v1? It's interesting. 3v1? Curious, and then that gets boring, and you have to bring in the lions. Bring in the beasts! Driven by consumption and the need for spectacle, the show just kept getting worse, with more and more ridiculous challenges like you would expect in a gladiator's arena, like an entertaining circus. She said she can feel, taste what the people want to see. What can I give them? I should faint.
Oh, no! Take her palm. Now you guys gonna learn about acting!
Girl damn near gave everybody a heart attack. Spectacle. But what's particularly deranged was when spectacle comes at the cost of the contestants. Like the case with Danny. Tyrant Banks has a thing on the show where you either do what she tells you to do or you get out. It's your choice.
Getting my gap closed is not opening any doors for me. You knew what you were doing for the show. You were making good for TV at my expense.
The Tyrant Banks tells Danny to close the gap in her teeth, her beautiful gap that makes her very unique. Remember when Tyra wants to like unique beauty? You want to stay in this competition, you sit your ass down in my dentist's chair, you Frankenstein. You get your shit done.
Get them teeth done? All the way.
All the way.
That was between a rock and a hard place for me.
She speaks like a politician because agents told me about her gap.
Because there were agents that would tell me she will not work with those teeth. It's just not gonna happen. That's what they told me.
You think you're getting anywhere with that gap in your teeth? No! You are.
That's a nice gap. Let's make that gap bigger.
So one girl from one season gets forced to close the gap in her teeth, which she didn't want to close. And then another girl from another season later is celebrated for the gap in her teeth.
Could have just been quiet and let them handle it. But that's hindsight is 20/20 for all of us.
So what the is wrong with you? Honestly.
I apologized for the issue with Danny and what happened.
Tyra said she apologized. I've already fixed that. Close that chapter. I've apologized to Danny. She says in a very calculated behavior, very performative apology. Like she wants to celebrate black and brown beauty, she says. Interesting what you did there.
Do you really think you can have a cover contract with the gap?
Why not? You look great. We'd love to exaggerate that and take you a little bit more to Lauren Hutton.
You celebrated hers, not hers. But she wants to celebrate it so much, she decides blackface is the way to go. Remember that? She said it was a different time back then. Like, it was the 1930s, you know, it wasn't 2005. I don't know what the thought process for this shoot was, really. If you paint a white girl black, how are you celebrating black beauty? And then you paint a black girl white. What's going on here? There was her way of showing that brown and black is beautiful. What are you implying when you say nothing, y'all? She's not implying any social justice bullshit. It's just to get a reaction out of people. And it did. We talked. Back then, when it was a different time, there was backlash, but they did it 9 cycles later. Again.
Tyra would always reinforce, we need to keep it entertaining, we need to keep people watching.
And those systems have not evolved much, really. That's just still how reality TV works. Surprise. Still the same. Humiliation is a priority in reality TV. It still exploits people, yes. One thing I do want to talk about in the documentary that was a little odd, I felt, was the Jays. First of all, I wish Miss J a quick recovery. They talked about their health struggles. That was quite sad, especially knowing that Tyra did not visit her lifelong friend after finding out, like, what the f***. But okay.
She was going to visit me. But, no. Not yet.
But it did feel like an attempt to get away, throw all the blame on Tyra. I mean, if you want to criticize it morally, there's a lot of blame that can go everywhere here. They participated in the body shame. Mind you, they're all like lifelong friends. They started the show together. She was producer, yeah, but they were the backbone as well of the show. Did they at any point come up to her and say, girl, what the f*** are we doing? No. He said, I would never. Why not? Do y'all not know each other? You were the founding fathers of the show. Was Tyra that much of a tyrant? I thought y'all had the first viewing party at your home. Her mom came to your place. But it got to a point eventually where he was like, I can't take it anymore. This is the bit that really confuses me about J. Manuel. What are your thoughts on this? He got to a point, reasonably so, after God knows how many ridiculous things they've had to do, where it was time for him, I guess for the sake of his career, to move on. So he sends her an email. At the end of cycle 8. He sends a warm, loving email thanking her for all those years they've worked together and informing her that he's ready to move on. 72 long hours of silence. Not a word from Tyra. What? Oh, yeah, that's kind of scary. She sends him a letter that he understood was a little bit threatening. I assume there were undertones in the letter that said something along the lines of him being blacklisted in the industry if he does not, etc., etc. Etc., etc. being take part in cycle 9. He does. I'm like, this poor guy. You know, he's been coerced into this. Tyrant Tyra. I'm watching the documentary and I hear him. He's still talking and we're still hearing all those things that they're doing. And I'm like, are we still in cycle 9? Like, I thought you were on your way out. Like, what's going on? Fast forward, suddenly they're getting fired. Didn't you just quit? No, apparently they fired him in cycle 18. The network fired him. Not Tyra. Tyra wanted them. She wanted them so bad, but no sacred cows.
Bosses have bosses. And the big boss was very clear. There are no sacred cows.
So the network fires her beloved team. J. Manuel, Miss J, and Nigel. Gone. That's great, right? That's what J. Manuel wanted. Cycle 9. He was fired in cycle 18. Were you held against your will for 9 seasons? I don't know, man. I don't know. I find that funny. She just held you hostage in the attic or something. By the way, we're filming in the attic because this is where you keep things archived. Old things that you likely don't want to reuse. Season 25? No! You know, let's just keep season 24 up in the attic. Let's not dust that shit off. What am I eating, you ask? A chocolate sandwich. You know, literally 1 minute into the documentary, I just knew I had to make a video. I needed to talk about this. But you know, the humiliation as a spectacle is one thing, but then putting the girl's safety at risk for the spectacle is another, really. And when Tyra was asked about Shandy, she said, it's a little difficult for me to talk about production because that's not my territory. This was you, though. Am I losing my mind? Are we losing our minds? The lies! Oh, Jesus. So the whole production bringing these dudes over, them being all drunk and televising it, this extremely dehumanizing. The whole thing is just ridiculous. But that's not all. There was Kenya, who had Bertini, that creepy man, was hitting on her during the shoot, grabbing her legs, and when she spoke up, they told her to shut up.
I know it's kind of like hurtful, but here moaning, it just threw me out. I didn't get the response that I thought I was going to get.
No, because J. Manuel told her, be so for real, girl.
How dare you stop our production? restriction.
Look at how many of us are in here. You think you're unsafe right now?
You're in a professional situation and they're like 50 of us here on set.
That's what he told. He said, this is a whole ass production.
To be on a TV set in front of so many people and still not be protected.
Like, you're not unsafe is basically what he told her. Lo and behold, the judging panel, when the image came out, it was literally the dude grabbing her. Then this Nigel photographer has the audacity to tell her that she should have stood up for herself.
She did, you should be able to stand up for yourself and say, hey, no, this isn't working, or...
She did, though.
Tyra was trying to empower her in the same way she's empowered a lot of things in this show of hers.
Did you do it in a fun way?
Tyra was explaining to her how to set boundaries, but in a very nice, fun kind of way, so as to not disturb the ambiance of the shoot.
Where he knows to back the heck up, but it doesn't really put static in the air because it makes you uncomfortable.
You know, the vibes. Don't kill the vibes, girl. The dude touching her is killing the vibes.
I was trying to empower her with the information that I had.
Just trying to empower her. You would have really empowered her a lot more had you listened to her when she spoke up, when she said she was uncomfortable. And then she goes, well, we all now understand the protections, women.
We now all understand the protections that women need.
You now understand, like, ma'am, you didn't? You are a woman in the fashion industry. You didn't understand? We now all understand, she said.
So I say to Kenya, ooh, I'm so sorry. None of us knew. Network executives didn't know. And I did the best that I could at that time.
Ma'am is talking like some executive at a production company, not like a model to whom these people are apprentices. No one knew, she said. Girl, she told you! What do you mean no one? You sat down and you edited the show! No one knew. Oh my lord. Listen, if you want to lie, be good at it, okay? Sorry, I'm frustrated. Respect our brain cells when you lie. Give me something that'll make me, perhaps. Give me something that'll challenge me a little bit, for f***'s sake. No one knew. It happened behind closed doors, you know, not in the middle of this production, right before your eyes, with all your cameras pointing at them. It's not like she actually came up and said, I'm uncomfortable after all this, which is what shooks me to the core, y'all. She looks at you and says, I hope that one day you too will be open to criticism the way I am, because the day when people will come roast you for absolutely no reason will absolutely come. And stay tuned for Cycle 25 coming soon. You're done. What's very interesting about reality TV is I feel like, unlike back then, people nowadays have learned the game. They've learned the name of the game. So it's no longer about actually achieving whatever the reality TV show advertises you will achieve. It's about being as obnoxious, ridiculous, insane as possible to become interesting to the public to the point where it is in the show's benefit to keep you.
We need to keep it entertaining. We need to keep people watching.
But to be so insane, so provocative, so extreme, to the point where you're such a spectacle, the show has no choice but to keep you. You bring in the views. You get to stay. So people nowadays have taken that humiliation sort of into their own hands. It doesn't need to happen to them because now they produce it, sort of, themselves. They've learned the name of the game. So that's really the difference between now and then, I think. Then you had all these innocent people, really, get dragged into these things, and then they were made to be a spectacle. Now, people know what they're getting into. They know what it means to be an entertainment, and they go in with a different mindset. They go in with, I'm gonna make a name for myself. So, I feel like that's the big difference, really. But that concept still exists. So will America's Next Top Model, Cycle 25, be worse? The same? Easier to watch? Harder to watch? What do you think? I have a feeling that it's gonna be very different because of this new understanding of reality TV. You know, the contestants are not gonna be naive, innocent girls that just literally just came out into this world and they're like, oh, no. Easily manipulated, easily humiliated. No, that's not what that's gonna be. And that's what I think. I don't know. What I do know is, holy shit, Tyra, is all I can say. Ma'am, you have impressed me with your delulu, okay? Deny, deny, deny. Ma'am looks you in the eye and tells you the sky is purple. What are your thoughts? Did you watch the documentary? Did you see it? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think that Tyra should be held accountable for her show or not? Do you think it was just entertainment and that is just how entertainment works? Do you think she should apologize for what she's done? In my opinion, I don't think it really matters if she apologizes or not, because why would you want someone to say sorry if they're not sorry. What I think irks me more is her pretending to be some kind of social justice warrior, a revolutionaire, someone who's changed the way the world works, a positive impact on the world because of her show. And there's literal receipts that show the opposite. There was this one article I read on Dazed magazine by Jenna on whether the fashion industry has really changed since America's Next Top Model, and guess what? No, it did not. It is still toxic. It is still super narrow. And this premise that Tyra Banks' America's Next Top Model was conceived during a dark cultural era is just not true. That's what she thinks, Jenna. In my opinion, accountability, put that aside. You can't run after somebody and make them apologize, make them feel bad about it. No, you can't. You can simply just not engage, I guess, with that individual and their works. That gaslighting of her being this revolutionary social justice warrior, the savior of sorts. It must have been a different show, you know, that you're talking about. What are your thoughts? Share them down in the comments below, guys. Let's hear what you think. But that was pretty much it. I'm gonna head out and go warm up a little. It's a little cold up here in the attic. Oh, Bestie, you've left your car here. How are you gonna go home now? You've left your vehicle. Please. What are we doing in the attic? Ooh, where'd I kidnap you this time? This is where you keep old things that you don't want to revisit, right? So we've got America's Next Top Model, and what we're not gonna do is to make a new season, which we are gonna. They're gonna make a new season.